So welcome everybody to Thursdays with Franco, where we talk about what's possible with autonomous, Apex, and many other capabilities associated with data, change, and speed on how to make a difference. Hey, Fauzi and Stuart, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you? Good to see you.
And you. Before we dig into the topic today, just a little thank you to Chris Spearing's call last week. Just a reminder, Chris Spearings did a fantastic job being very generous with his own recent autonomous and Apex journey. Chris showed us how he's actually developing an app with other people at Oracle around a non-profit organization, a charity-based organization, supporting single mothers who are looking for financial support and other support. And they're developing an app. And Chris shared with us what he was doing from a JSON perspective. He also showed us how he was developing an Apex application, being able to mix what's possible with Apex out of the box, and then including JavaScript. He introduced dynamic actions, and then he also showed us how to do debug, how to step through your code. For someone like me who never ever makes mistakes, I don't need to use debug. Only kidding, only kidding. I learned a lot and was really appreciative of what Chris had to show. And that session is recorded for people that missed it. So today's session, we're actually going to do something quite similar. It actually leads on quite well. And we've got Fauzi Tahir, who's actually building her own little Apex application. And it's going reasonably well, but Fauzi wants to improve the look and feel and the style of what that app is actually all about. So Fauzi, I might hand over to you and then, get you to peel back some of the conversations you've been having with Stuart around your own journey, and I'll stop sharing.
Brilliant. Thanks, Franco. So I didn't start this app by scratch, but I had a look at it. And in terms of, I suppose, the user interface, I was trying to improve it so that it was more readable and more visual, if you like. So I was having a chat to Stuart yesterday or a couple of days ago and asked for some hints and tips. So in today's session, I'll show you as to where the starting point is. So I'll start to share my screen, and Stu, you're on mute now?
Yep, I'm good now.
Cool. Okay, so Stu, as we discussed yesterday, we have this app that has, it's essentially some collateral around presentations across the OCI stack, if you like. And we started off with what you see on your screen. Sorry, it is very bland, so it's just textual, but when you click on it, it'll actually open up the collateral or download the collateral in a PowerPoint slide. I wanted to make sure that, rather than just having text, to add some visuals in terms of how it looks and feels. So being a novice in Apex, I started off by using some of the custom templates that's pre-built, and it's fantastic. You just select it, and then you choose as to whether you want to actually incorporate the templates theme, look and feel. So that's how I started it off. So this is a bit of an improvement from the previous screen in that, it's now you're able to go and have a look, and this one actually opens it up in a different tab. For PDF, in a PDF format. So my first question to you, Stu, if you wouldn't mind helping me, is the first thing I'd like to change is, even though it comes with some pre-built colors and palettes, how do I change that?
It's a really good question. So there are many, many ways, but let's look at the very easy way. So there's a really good hints and tips on the apex.oracle.com. So if you just nip to their website, just open a new tab and go to apex.oracle.com/UT, which is universal theme /UT. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
So what we've got here is a whole lot of reference points about things like components and the design and navigation. So if you just click on the reference box there for me, you'll see a whole lot of options here. So you can use custom style sheets for sure, and I'll show you that a little bit later. But actually, Apex has a lot built in already. So one right there, the CSS utilities, color and status modifiers. Given that you want to use different colors here, then that's probably a really good place to start. So if you just click there, this will give you a list of essentially CSS classes that you can put into your code. So if you like the color of, number 5, for instance, which is a nice green with black text, or you color 5 with white text. So essentially you just pick one of those classes. So if you just copy that one and then go back into your app, into the builder, and always happens. So which page is yours? Number 8, I think it is. Page 8. Is it page 8? Yep. So what we can do is if you click on capability, for instance, just on that report that you've got there, what you'll see here is a number of places. Can you just get rid of that PowerPoint? Just click the X next to show all at the bottom. Just get rid of that. That's it. Okay. So now if you just scroll on that right-hand side, you'll see some places where you can see here, you've got these column CSS classes under your layout. So this is what I found is a little bit hit and miss as to where you put these. So if you put it in the appearance, it's going to change the whole region. If you put it under the column CSS classes, for instance, so if you just paste in that class from that you just got, just paste it in. Now just save that and rerun your page. So I find this a little bit hit and miss and sort of just try it as you go. So you can see it's changed the background of the whole area, which is not what you wanted as it happens. So let's go back. And like I say, it's a bit of experimentation. So just remove that one there. Now, if you go to the attributes at the top of the region settings there. So this is where you start to see a little bit more detail about the theme and the badge list. So right there, you've got CSS classes under appearance. So I reckon if you paste it in there, and the reason we're going through, obviously we know which one we want to do, but I just want to show everyone a few of the options that you've got where you can put these classes. And this uColor 5 is built into Apex already. So there's hundreds of these. Okay, so that's now done each badge itself by that, but that's not actually what we wanted either, because I think what you wanted to do was change each badge by itself, so they're all the same color. So just pull that one out, and if you just scroll a little bit more, clearly it's not in there. So let's go back to region. And then I think it's in layout is the one we didn't do. What was it? Was it layout we didn't do? Just scroll back up. Keep going. Keep going. Up, down a bit. No, you've gone too far. Okay. Just pop it in there, I think. Is that the one we didn't do?
I think we did that one.
Oh, we did do that one. Yeah, I thought we did the hero one. Okay, so just go to the appearance one and post it in there. Did you save that?
Oh, no, I didn't. Maybe that's the reason why.
We did, that's the one we did before.
So let me go back to the attributes one because I might not have saved it and rerun it.
So go back to the top. I think you did do that one. I think that's the one we did do the first time.
Yeah.
So that's just done the whole back. So can you just click on the template options for me? I just want to show just the line above. Yep, that one. So here we can start saying that the you can scroll and there's all sorts of. So can you get rid of apply theme colors firstly? Yeah. So what I guess. This is a good question now. Just click, we may move on.
So I had realized, because I did play around for a little bit to try and get to CS2, as you say, sometimes it's hit and miss. There are, and it seems to have a hierarchical type of order. So for example, even though you change a property,
yep,
that sometimes a higher order will still override that, yes, and it won't appear.
You're absolutely right. So we need to go to the lower order. So actually you need to click on columns on the left-hand side. Columns, no, yep, columns. No, not that one. Go back to capability and click on columns under capability.
Got it, yep.
Pull that one down. Okay, so basically that one that derived, which is what the text you're using. So that's the only one showing. So we want to put it here. So this is where we're going to put that CSS class under column formatting. So you put it in there, paste that in, that's it. And so now when you run that, what you'll see now is that each one of those columns has got, okay. What did we do wrong there? Did you save that? Yeah, you did. That's interesting, isn't it?
So, Stuart, there's also advanced under the region. There's 3 places you can put this: layout, yeah, appearance, and advanced. Why don't we just try each one of those?
Yeah, yeah. Just go down to the advanced. No, it's not a CSS class in advanced though. So you can add your own classes. You can create your own CSS files and put your own classes in these. That's quite fascinating that didn't work. I wonder. This is where it gets interesting because it's kind of trying to decide which one's which. So let me give you a little bit of a tip then, Fauzi, that we can look at. If you just go back to your page, if you open the developer tools are you using Chrome or Firefox?
I'm using Chrome.
Chrome. So if you open the developer tools, so if you click on the 3 dots, top right, and then more tools, up, yep, and then developer tools. Okay, so now in the top left of developer tools, you've got this little arrow in a box. So if you click that, and then you click on, and you go and hover over, for instance, your badges, and if you hover just outside, you can start to see there where the CSS classes that are being used. And you can start to understand, and on the right, you'll see the HTML. So this is kind of where Chris was going last week with a bit of this sort of debugging, where you can start to see the class names. And if you look at the bottom of the right-hand side, the bottom right, you're actually seeing the styles that are being used inside that page. So what I always do is start experimenting by changing them in here just to see what sort of effect that has. But let's go try something slightly different, Fauzi. If you go back to your page, go on.
So another one I wanted to say shows, obviously it'll take the default fonts from the template as well. If I wanted to, so for example, the actual items or the list of items in each of these categories, if you like, I want to make them all uppercase rather than initial capitals.
So you could do that inside of your SQL, so that when you pull out the data from the database, you make them uppercase. But that's like coding. So let's do it through CSS. So if you go back to your Apex theme at the top right, your color and status modifiers,
Sorry, in my Apex application?
Yeah, no. Go back to where you just, no. Go back to where you just, the Apex feet reference, colors and status modifiers tab.
Got it.
Yeah, that's it. Right, so now click open the menu. And then if you click content modifiers, you'll see there's a list of modifiers in here that again you can use. So you can change the alignment of them. You can do text transformation. And funnily enough, one of the text transformations is UTextUpper. So let's just grab that. And we know where to put this one. So copy that, go back to your page designer, and then in your derived, which you've got there. And this is an interesting point. If you go find the style on the right-hand side, the class, you can stack these. So in other words, you can put a list. So just scroll up to the top. Yeah, okay, too far. Go back down a bit, little bit, right there. So basically your column CSS class under the 6, if you just paste that in there, the UTextUpper, save that, and then go rerun your page. It's changed all the text to uppercase. So without any coding, it's changed all the code there. So that's quite nice.
Okay, and in terms of, so if we look at where the colored boxes are, it's taking up, for me, it's taking up a little bit too much real estate on the screen. So how do I actually reduce the padding between the boxes? So I don't want to reduce completely, maybe 2 pixels or so, just so that there's a little bit of white between the boxes.
Sure. So this is where we do need to use those developer tools. So if you just go back into the developer tools, you can use inspect. So you've done this before. So now go hover over one of the boxes in your left side of your screen, but make it the sort of full box size. So you can see that depending on where you hover, gives you a different sort of perspective. So if you just hover, go just slightly left, just so it fills up the whole box, not the middle. That's it, that one there. So that is a badge list item. Can you see that li.t hyphen badge list item? And you can see that the padding is 12 pixels. Can you see that on your, where it's showing you there on the screen? Okay, so what we can do is if you go back to your page designer, and then you go to the top left, so go to the page, so go to the top left in your menu, yep, there, the page 8, Black Book, click on there. So this is where we can actually put in some CSS. So if you scroll that up or down, whichever way you scroll, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Right there, too far. It's like my wife with Foxtel when she's fast forwarding past the ads. She always goes too far. Anyway, so you can do inline CSS here. So if you just click the pop-up on there, just to make it a bit easier to see. So you can type in custom CSS here. So it was T hyphen, you actually need a full stop first. Sorry, my bad. Hyphen badge list, it's capital B. List with a capital L.
Yeah.
Hyphen item with a small I think.
Okay, right.
Of course you're going to do that. Okay, so now space, open curly bracket. Now curly bracket.
Yep.
Yep, now just press enter, just a new line. And then put padding. And it's giving you some of the options there that you can use. So it knows CSS. So colon. And we'll just make it 2 pixels either side, I think you said. So 2px semicolon. I always put a space in between just in case. I don't know if it makes a difference, but colon space. Yeah, that's it. Okay. And so if you just click OK there. Now, if we've spelt badge list item correctly, when you go back into your page, it should have changed them all on your page. So save, run, and there you go. It's reduced the padding.
Oh, brilliant. Yep.
On all of those. So you can do things like margins, you can do lots of things there. So you can see it squashed up the page quite nicely. So what we did there is we used CSS classes that are built into Apex. And then we, in the last example, we overrode them by actually typing the code in itself. So if you're a bit fancy with CSS and JavaScript, you can start doing some pretty funky things. So Fauzi, I think apart from maybe not doing the colors properly, which we should look at, and we don't want to go for too long, but I think we've given you everything there apart from those colors.
Oh no, that's great. I mean, this shows that it gives you the flexibility to change, even though you, as I said, as a novice, to use the pre-built included templates, and then further customize it for the advanced visuals, if you like. So thanks so much, Stuart. Really appreciate that.
So given I let you down a little bit there, Franco, can I show you a couple of examples where I've gone a bit nuts with CSS?
Absolutely. I think you're going to need to work out how to reclaim this session, Stu. So yeah, let's see what's possible. The thing which I like about what we're talking about is last week, it was more about how do we get the engine, you know, whether it was around the data or around logic or around things like JavaScript to do stuff. What today was about was, hey, I've done some stuff out of the box with Autonomous and Apex. I don't want to do too much more around JavaScript. I just want to improve the style, the look and feel. And so the idea is whether it was around colors or whether it was around text or padding, etc., what can you do with things like CSS? So Stuart, let's see an example of what is possible with what you've done.
So I think I showed this one maybe last year, and we're working on this for Grand Prix next week. So if you can see my screen, what I've got here is a full CSS file that I've created. I've changed the fonts. I've added my own color stylings. I've changed backgrounds. I've added the image there. So all of that formatting is all done through CSS. So things like these lap times that are purple, I choose the CSS class as part of my SQL when I build the page, but it means that I can be really flexible with my CSS. So that one was like a whole kind of, you know, refurbishment of the fonts and things. But what we've done in here, and again, I've shown this app before, this is our parts manager that we've got where we look at sort of various parts. And so I've started to use the CSS in here just to start to change the look and feel. These are fairly standard cards, but when I go and look at the details, when I hover over here, that's all done in CSS to do the pop-up of the image, if you can see my screen, if you're sharing properly. So I'm using CSS there to basically pop that up. And then what I really like, which is really, really cool, I'm also using this page here is completely custom built. So I'm not using Apex as a UI. I'm using Apex to get data. And then all of these are built using HTML and CSS. The reason I did that, and people are going to say, well, why would you bother, is because all of these are now drag and drop. So I can now drag these over to the right-hand side, and that's how I get my list. So this whole page is essentially built using CSS and then a tiny bit of JavaScript to manage the drag and drop. But I just wanted to show you a little bit of an example of where, you know, with playing with CSS, how dramatically different you can make your pages look.
That's great, Stu. So you've shown, hey, if you want to create some sort of shopping cart type of experience or some sort of live telemetry type capability, there's a lot that's possible with using the strength of Apex and then being able to apply your own customizations. There is an actual Oracle Live Labs shopping cart experience as well. So for people that are looking to do it as simply and as quickly as possible, and you may not have all the knowledge that Stu has, go to Oracle Live Labs and look for the Apex shopping cart experience. Thank you, Stu. I think you've also highlighted in the future, we may actually revisit, how to create those style sheets from scratch, and how to actually add a color to color. Because I think the point Fauzi and yourself have made is, while there's a lot of power, there's a few hierarchies there with those style sheets.